Welcome to Dialogue. Today we're really getting into something fascinating. It's this idea, this whole world of hyper-strategic living that so many of us stumble upon.
Usually when we're not at our best, right?
Exactly. Think about it for a second. You get passed over for that big promotion, or you feel like you just got completely played in a negotiation.
Or maybe you just have that moment where you realize, wow, the world isn't as straightforward as I was told.
Right. And in that moment, you go looking for an edge.
Mhm.
And you find it. You find these books on power, on seduction, on social engineering, and suddenly something just clicks.
It feels like you've found the secret rule book.
It really does. It's like you're not just living life anymore, you're an operator. The world stops being this messy human thing and it becomes a system you can game.
And the people around you, your colleagues, your friends, they stop being people.
You become variables, pieces on a chessboard.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that rush of control you get from it,
Yeah.
that's the seduction we're really going to break down today.
And that's our mission here. It's not about, a historical critique of Machiavelli. It's about the modern marketing of this mindset.
That's a great way to put it.
It's this whole culture that's sprung up, framing every single human interaction as a competition.
Yeah.
A zero-sum game where everyone's hiding their true motives.
It's Machiavelli for people who highlight passages on their Kindle.
That's perfect. And look, we have to be honest. Some of the insights, they're not useless.
No, not at all. Poison has a purpose, but you're not meant to drink it every day.
Exactly. And that's the core of it. If you start seeing every coffee meeting, every date, every conversation as a chance to deploy some tactic, you hollow yourself out. That's the real cost we need to measure.
Both the cost to yourself and to everyone around you.
So before we even get into the specific tactics, the dark arts, as you called them, we have to look at the foundation, the philosophy you're buying into.
Okay.
And it really rests on three core assumptions. And if you accept them, they basically set the course for your entire life.
So what's the first one?
Assumption one is about human nature. It's the belief that, at our core, humans are predators, period.
So any act of kindness or cooperation is, what? A trick.
It's either that or it's just deep, deep naivety. There's no room for genuine altruism. Good faith is seen as a mask for self-interest, just waiting for the right moment to strike.
That's such a defensive way to see the world, isn't it? If you start by assuming everyone else is a wolf, it gives you permission to be a wolf first.
It's the ultimate justification. You're not exploiting people. You're just playing by the real rules that nobody else is brave enough to admit.
But it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
100%. You treat the world with suspicion, so the world starts treating you with suspicion. You don't just find a battlefield. You end up creating one around you.
And that leads to the next assumption.
Directly.
Yep.
Assumption two. Resource scarcity. The idea that everything good, power, success, attention is a finite pie.
A zero-sum game.
Exactly. For me to get a bigger slice, you have to get a smaller one. If my coworker gets ahead, that is a direct threat to me.
I see this in workplaces all the time. The manager who won't delegate real authority because they're terrified, one of their team members might outshine them.
Yes. They cripple their own team's potential out of that fear. They can't comprehend the idea of expansive power where collaboration actually makes the pie bigger for everyone. To them, sharing control just looks like weakness.
It sounds exhausting.
It is. It's a life of constant anxiety, always checking the rearview mirror. Which brings us to the third and final assumption, the one about trust and ethics.
Let me guess. They're for fools.
Pretty much. Trust is a strategic liability.
Yeah.
And ethics, integrity, those are like, optional accessories. You put them on when they look good and you take them off when they get in the way.
So you're always hiding your real motives, and you're always trying to figure out everyone else's hidden motives.
It's a permanent intelligence gathering mission. It's a lonely way to live, always wearing a mask and assuming everyone else is too.
So you take those three things: predatory nature, scarce resources, and no trust.
And you get this toxic formula. But here's the most important takeaway, the thing we really need to understand. This isn't wisdom. It's not some advanced insight into how the world works.
What is it then?
It's trauma dressed as intellect.
Wow. Say more about that.
Yeah.
That feels very true.
It's a pivot, right? Because it's so easy to mistake all the complex language and historical quotes for deep thinking. But psychologically, it comes from a place of fear.
From being heard.
Deeply. Someone who feels safe, who feels worthy, doesn't need to spend their life plotting how to dominate every person they meet. This need for control is a defense mechanism.
You're trying to control the outside world to avoid getting hurt again.
You mistake control for safety, you mistake manipulation for connection. It's all just a really painful, really exhausting substitute for developing actual self-worth. You've just intellectualized your own pain.
The deeper the cynicism, the deeper the fear. That's a powerful idea.
It's the whole game.
Okay, so let's get into the mechanics. When we say dark arts, that's not just for drama. There's a reason for that label.
Right, these aren't neutral tools. They can't be.
Because for them to even work, you need 3 specific things to be true in that interaction. First, you need concealment. You have to hide what you're really doing.
If your intentions were totally transparent, the other person would just walk away.
Second, you need asymmetry, an imbalance. You have to know more than they do, more about their weaknesses, more about the situation. You exploit that knowledge gap.
And the third one is the most corrosive. You need dehumanization.
You have to. You can't exploit someone you see as a full, complex human being. You have to reduce them.
To a target, an obstacle, a means to an end.
And the whole time, the focus is on what this does to the target. But the real hidden cost is what it does to you, the practitioner. It just hollows you out.
Let's take the first one, strategic dishonesty. This is the bedrock. And what's so insidious is how people rationalize it.
They don't call it lying.
Never. It's curating the truth or managing perceptions.
I see this constantly at work. You're the humble team player to your junior staff, but you're the cutthroat visionary to the CEO.
And you're the overworked martyr to your direct boss. You have all these different versions of yourself.
And the internal cost of that. Even if no one ever catches you, your own body knows. Your nervous system is keeping score.
The cognitive load is immense. Think about the mental energy it takes just to keep your stories straight, remembering which version of you was presented to which person.
That was a nightmare. You told HR you were at a family wedding, but you told the sales team you were on a secret client pitch, and now they're in the same email chain.
Exactly. That energy you're spending just tracking your own scripts is energy you're not spending on actual work or innovation or real connection.
It's like you become your own PR department, but one with terrible insomnia.
A PR department with insomnia. That's it. You're constantly managing the brand of you, a product you're secretly afraid is a fraud, and you can never, ever clock out.
Which leads right into the next dark art, this idea of exploitation being a form of intelligence.
Ah, yes. The classic rationalization.
The one that says, hey, if they were stupid enough to fall for it, that's on them.
It frames parasitism as a sign of cleverness.
But let's challenge that. Is it really intelligence if it only works when other people are in the dark? True intelligence should hold up to scrutiny, right? It should be robust.
It's a fundamentally brittle strategy. Look at it from an evolutionary standpoint. A parasite doesn't evolve new skills, it just gets better at draining its host.
Until the host dies.
And then the parasite starves. It's a dead end. Think about a career. A manipulator can climb the ladder fast by, stealing credit and pitting people against each other.
Sure, they extract value really well.
But then they get to a senior level. And suddenly the job isn't about extraction anymore. It's about vision, collaboration, inspiring trust.
And they just don't have those tools.
They hit a wall, a hard ceiling, because the only skill they'd ever developed was taking. They don't know how to build. Their entire success was outsourced to the good faith of others, and that well eventually runs dry.
So we have to be intellectually honest here. These tactics, they work, at least in the short term.
Oh, they absolutely do, and that's why they're so seductive. If they didn't work at all, nobody would buy these books.
You get the quick promotion by undermining your rival. You get compliance by manufacturing a crisis.
You get the financial win from a deceptive contract. The payoffs are immediate, and they're intoxicating. It creates a very powerful feedback loop.
It's instant gratification. But the real question isn't about what you get. It's about what you give up, the things you absolutely cannot get with this approach.
That's the whole conversation.
But let me ask you this. In a really cutthroat business, isn't some of this just necessary competition? Where's the line?
That is a fantastic question. The line is concealment. A hard-fought competition is transparent. The rules are understood. A football game is aggressive, but it's not manipulative. Manipulation, by its very nature, relies on hidden information and corroding the other person's reality.
So what are the things you can never get through manipulation?
Okay, number one, loyalty. You can get obedience. You can get compliance based on fear. But you cannot manipulate someone into true, uncoerced loyalty. The act itself makes it impossible.
And trust. obviously.
You get transactional compliance. People do what you want while you're watching. But the moment your power is gone, your position, your money, that compliance evaporates. Trust is what remains when the transaction is over.
Well,
Your own peace. And your own safety. Because if you truly believe the world is just a web of deception, you have to live in a state of constant paranoia.
you're always waiting for the counter move.
Always. You taught the world that betrayal is the primary move, so you can't be surprised when it's used against you. You become your own jailer.
And the last thing.
You don't get real power. What you get is temporary control. And that is the cheapest, most brittle form of power there is. Real power magnetizes people. It doesn't coerce them.
It's that fast food of influence metaphor. It fills you up quick, but it's designed to kill you slowly.
Perfectly put. You get the short-term hit of success, but it destroys your reputation, your relationships, and ultimately your own self-worth in the long run. All calories, no nutrition.
So let's talk about those long-term consequences, because a core part of this manipulative mindset is this ego fantasy, right? That you can get away with it.
The belief that you can operate outside the laws of consequence. That if you weren't immediately called out or punished, the action was free. We have to be clear. Actions echo.
It's not magic, it's just systems thinking.
Exactly. There's no such thing as a consequence-free action in an interconnected system. The system always adjusts. You put poison in, the system's health declines. It's that simple.
Every major wisdom tradition in history has a name for this, doesn't it?
Every single one. Call it karma, call it sowing and reaping, call it cause and effect. You don't get to escape the law just by pretending it doesn't exist. The universe is a mirror.
And the consequences rarely show up immediately.
No, that's the trick. They don't arrive as one big refund. They arrive in installments with interest.
So you might screw over a business partner today and get a short-term win.
But 5 years from now, when your reputation for being untrustworthy has slowly spread through back channels and you can't get funding for your next big idea, that's the interest payment.
The initial transaction was small, but the interest is compounding and permanent.
And as bad as all that is, the external stuff, the ultimate cost is internal. It's the complete destruction of your own self-worth.
How so?
Because when you adopt these tactics, you are accepting a core belief. And that belief is, I must deceive to survive.
Which is just another way of saying
The real me is not enough.
that's the tragedy right there. You can have all the external success in the world, but you feel like a fraud every single day.
You're trapped. You have to keep performing, keep posturing. You can never just relax and be yourself.
Because you're terrified that if people saw the real you, the messy, non-strategic you, they'd leave. Or the whole illusion would just crumble.
And that belief that your genuine self is fundamentally inadequate. That is the true price you pay. You become a prisoner in a jail of your own making.
So who is drawn to this stuff? I mean, it's not usually people who are feeling great about their lives.
No. The attraction is almost never rooted in malice. It's rooted in hurt.
People who feel powerless read books about power.
People who feel unseen are drawn to tools of control. People who feel unworthy are drawn to methods of exploitation as a defense. It's a classic coping mechanism.
It's a substitute for self-esteem.
An incredibly painful and exhausting substitute. You're trying to fix an internal problem with an external solution, and it just can't work. The logic is, if I can't feel good about who I am, I'll feel good about what I control.
And this leads to that illusion of invincibility. Every manipulator thinks they're the one who's smart enough to beat the system.
Always. They're the exception. Their tactics are too subtle, their target's too naive.
But the system adapts, and people get tired of the drama. Even if no one ever catches the specific lie, the pattern becomes obvious. Your reputation starts to calcify.
That's the perfect word for it. It calcifies. And the consequences aren't a big, dramatic confrontation. It's quieter than that.
What does it look like?
It looks like opportunities drying up. The invitations stop coming. Doors quietly close.
And nobody ever tells you why.
Nobody tells you why. The world just starts to work around you. You're left in this profound loneliness, still playing the game, but the board is empty. Everyone else has moved on to build something real.
Which brings us to a bigger point. This whole era of classic cloak and dagger manipulation. It's kind of dying, isn't it?
It's becoming obsolete. The environment has changed too fundamentally.
Technology?
Transparency is rising at an incredible rate. Information moves instantly. The ability to maintain separate public and private selves, which is critical for manipulation, is just eroding.
You've got Glassdoor for jobs, screenshots of every message,
Sure.
permanent digital records of everything.
The old art of war mentality, which relied on slow-moving secrets and calculated misdirection, it just can't work in a world of instantaneous, searchable information.
Your strategy can't rely on people's ignorance or short memories anymore.
Because the evidence is everywhere, and it's permanent. Trying to maintain multiple conflicting personas in the digital age is a recipe for catastrophic failure. The exposure now happens in real time.
Okay, so if that's the dead end, what's the alternative? What does real, sustainable power actually look like?
It requires a total reframe. True power doesn't coerce, it uplifts.
It doesn't manipulate, it magnetizes. It draws people to a shared, compelling vision.
And it doesn't exploit weakness, it cultivates strength in yourself and in others because it knows that strong systems are made of strong parts.
So operating from that place, that integrity, it unlocks a different, more advanced set of skills.
Far more advanced and far more resilient. You develop coherence. Your inner beliefs, your words, and your actions are all aligned. You waste zero energy managing perception because what you see is what you get.
You develop deep emotional intelligence. Not just reading a room to exploit it, but understanding people's real needs to find mutual solutions.
And you develop radical integrity, being the same person in private as you are in public. And all of this builds the ultimate asset, trust-based influence.
And that's not cheap control. It's real leverage, built on your character. People stick with you through the hard times, not because they're afraid of you, but because they believe in you.
And this is the final, most important reframe. The strategic books teach you how to win a game.
But life isn't the game.
Life is an ecosystem, and ecosystems have one unbreakable rule.
What's that?
They punish parasites, and they reward contributors. Always. In the long run.
It's like farming, really. The seed always grows its kind. You sow deception, you're going to reap distrust and isolation. You sow integrity, you'll reap loyalty and influence.
You can cheat the ecosystem for a little while, manipulate reality for a season, but reality always, always responds. And its long-term response to a parasite is to starve it out.
The choice is between that temporary control that degrades everything and sustainable power that uplifts everything.
That's the only choice that matters.
So to wrap this all up, the path forward is pretty clear. You don't need to deceive or dominate. You need to heal whatever it is inside you that makes those things feel necessary.
To integrate your whole self and act with integrity.
Because the future belongs to people who can see clearly, act cleanly, and stand openly in who they are. That's real power. And if that idea of total transparency feels threatening to you right now,
That's not a sign of weakness.
no. It's a sign that something old inside you is finally ready to die, so something new and much stronger can be born.
Just remember this one thing. Power that destroys is always temporary. Power that uplifts will outlive you.
If you enjoyed this conversation, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Also, let us know in the comments what really stood out to you in this conversation, and if there's any related topic or a new topic that you would like covered in a future video.